Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope everyone is doing okay and hoping people are having maybe some recoveries in their portfolios. So the past few days, it looks like the bulls aren't quite ready to throw in the towel. But today I'm gonna eat some humble pie. I'm gonna have to do this video to kind of like go over some of the corrections in the high yield sloppy seconds video that I did recently. So sometimes Panda sucks at math and rushes my clickbaity videos. So previous video had correct dollar amounts and correct share counts, but there was like some sloppiness in the calculated percentages. So apologies for that. As a matter of disclosure, I still have my high yield exposure for now. And this credit goes out to Far From Pooh. Thank you for calling me out on my BS and some of my dunce cat math. So this person is correct on TSLY and VD. I still have a little disagreement on the MSTY. I think maybe this was just like missing a zero or something like that. Because my numbers even after the correction are still different. So I figured like I might as well update the information as of September 11th. That's the latest figures that I have on hand. And then then I'm also kind of like taking my time and like looking through everything before I send this video out again. So again for TSLY, so I'm doing this as of the February 28th post split. So the assets since then went from 817 million down to 679 million. So the assets percentage in percentage terms went down 81%. The share count went from 74 down to 52. So the share count went down at a faster rate of 117%. And then let's go on to NVIDIA. So the start date on this one, not the start date, but like the measurement date that I'm doing this from is from January 5th all the way to September 11th. So I'm glad to see that NVIDIA went from 144 million in terms of assets under management, went to 940 million. So assets went up 551%, and then 6.6 million share count to 41.1 million share count. So that's a 521% increase. So for this time period, assets actually went up at a slightly faster rate. So this is good to see. So this may have helped counter any like tourist erosion from like prior periods. So this is definitely a pleasant surprise. And then kind of like on the flip side for Coney, this I have like the January 5th information. So 252.7 million up to 555.6 million. So assets went up at 116%. And then for the share counts, went from 10.8 million to 45 million. The share count went up at a faster rate, so 316%. So there's definitely some tourist erosion here, unfortunately, for at least for this time period. But don't give up just yet. The crypto rallies when you least suspect it. So then similarly for MSTY, so this like fund started around like February 27th. So like the assets under management went from 2.6 million up to 469 million. So even after I fixed my formula error, assets are still at 17, went up for 17,666%. And then the share count went from 25k to 22.2 million. So share count went up at almost like the same rate. So I'm glad to see no tourist erosion here for 17,700%. Or I mean, it's a little slight, but it's definitely not bad at all. And then for YieldMax, so this fund started around like January 16th. So went from 0.9 million, so basically 900k almost, to 249.9 million. So assets went up at a rate of 25,058%. And the share count went from 50,000 to 14.4 million. So the share count also went up at a faster rate at 28,752%. So this one is a little bit of a yikes, but I think hopefully there'll be like a relief rally that'll come, and that'll hopefully at least smooth out like the tourist erosion here. And then YMAG, so this one started around January 29th, similar 0.9 million up to 115.2 million. Assets went up at rate of 11,505%, and then the share count went from 50,000 to 6.1 million. So that's a share count rate of change of 12,150%. So this one is not as bad. So hopefully, again, it'll catch itself up. And unfortunately, even with my miscalculation, the conclusion is the same for Ulti. So this guy started February 28th. So the assets went from 2.4 million up to 186.2 million. So assets went up at a rate of 7,594%. And the share count went from 125,000 to 17.2 million. So share count went up at a much faster rate of 13,640%. So just to, like, in other words, it's roughly like a 44% tourist dilution. So in other words, Ulti should really be trading for like around $14 to $15 mark instead of like 10ish. So this one, well, again, it's really a shame for people that have bought in, and maybe like they're hoping for like the distributions to kind of eventually catch up to, and then also hopefully the tourist erosion will kind of smooth out as well. So they really need assets to kind of like go out at a faster rate. So this one's going to be tough. So for the Defiance funds, the figures actually looked okay. But I just updated the numbers anyway, just in case, and double checked the formula. So SPY-T, as of March 7th, 2.5 million up to 52.4 million. So the assets went up for 2,011%. The share count went from 250,000 to 2.7 million. So the share count went up like, almost the same, so 2,060%. So it's a slightly faster rate of change on the share count. So that means like there's a slight like tourist erosion, but it's not too bad. So that's definitely a sigh of relief. And then for triple QT, well, since this one is a little bit newer, so I'll give this one like a little bit of slack too. So this started like June 20th, so it's only like 3 months. So it's 4.9 million assets start to 12.1 million as of September 11th. So assets went up 143%. Then the share count went from 250,000 to 650,000. So share count went up 160%. So again, there's some slight tourist erosion, but it's not like the worst one. Definitely not by a long shot. And it's only been out for 3 months, so that's why it's a little bit of a concern. But again, hopefully a good rally will help smooth things out. And then just like also some good news from YieldMax recently. According to this tweet, YMAG and YMAX are going to start doing weekly distributions, and the others, like they're gonna have like this weird grouping, like where I guess like they're gonna stagger it out. So like certain ones will pay out 1 week, and this next batch will pay out like another week, and so on and so forth. So for example, if you happen to have TSLY, NVIDIA, Coney, and MSTY. So you'll notice like the A, B, C, and D grouping. So like your payment dates are going to be staggered by week, and then it'll be like something similar for like all the rest of these funds. But I'll let you look at this at your own time, at your own leisure. So again, this is just a opinion, and again, thank you for people that are fact checking me. So that's also very important. And of course, like just in general, please stay on top of your investments and your hedges. Well, actually in this one, if you can like and subscribe, but if you don't, or if you like actually dislike, and I lose a subscription, I perfectly understand. That was definitely a mistake on my part, and I shouldn't have like kind of like rushed out the prior video. So apologies for that. But obviously, if you can forgive me and still like and subscribe anyway, that would be greatly appreciated. Thank you for watching. I hope people make some good money out there, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye now.